Well, time to give the old kerosene heater a light. I got diesel fuel in it. I actually started with engine starting fluid all the time. Watch this. I don't need to do that, but I always like to burn off a little extra of the garbage that's on the wick. But it does burn clean. Once it gets going for a few minutes, I always light it up outside. And I've been using diesel fuel exclusively in the kerosene heater now for a few years. This is not your typical brand new type of heater though you would get in Lowe's or Home Depot or some other store like that. This is Perfection 1550 heater. I got the lid open right now. I'm just gonna let it burn for a little while. Make sure everything's, any cruds off of there. I think with the diesel fuel there probably is a little bit of extra carbon on it, but it doesn't seem to be that much because even the kerosene does that. I got diesel in there, so you can see I put it in there with my Cooter's Garage thing here, funnel. But the last time I ran this, I ran it for about 14 hours. I only had it on low, and it was a few days ago, but I had a half a tank left after 14 hours. So that's because it was on low. Now you can get more than 12 hours out of it even when it's going up pretty high, and I think that's because the diesel fuel has more energy. Now you can see all this black soot, but it does that when the lid is up, not just because it's diesel, but because it's not designed to burn with the thing like that. I'm just doing that on purpose right now for, as it gets going. The other thing is, if I see any frayed edges on the wick, I like using these. These are surgical shears. Actually, I got 2 of these for $6, I think from C.H. Cadell or Bud K out of Georgia. It's C.H. Cadell with a K, C.H.K.A.D.E.L, C.H. Cadell's, or Bud K, BUDK.com. They're out of Georgia. Usually have like these 2-for-1 deals. These are they're not as good as like the ones you would get in the military medical circles or something, but they are strong scissors. I like them for trimming a wick. And close this up. You'll see the smoke will stop in a minute here. That burns off, but got a nice flame in there. See, smoke stop. This is it. I mean, I could paint it. I painted it a couple times, but it just paint burns off after a while. So I turn it down just a little bit. But yeah, it works very well. I'm going to keep it inside right now, and because it's already getting cool out. It was actually cool this afternoon. For some reason, it stays pretty warm inside. I don't know why the hell it is. I'm in Florida, but I'm not in South Florida. I'm towards North Florida. I'm well north of Orlando. I guess Orlando's Central Florida. I'm well north of there. But yeah, this thing really works great. I probably should get another one of them though, because sometimes I use, if it's really cold out, I'll use the electric heater in the bedroom. But with this and the electric heater in the bedroom, and I don't even use the electric heater in the bedroom all the time, maybe sometimes at night, that's all I'll ever freaking use, man, all winter. But this, again, it's in Florida, but still, it saves a shitload of money on heat, so the old way. The old way. So I was out here messing around with the boat and stuff. I had to put it up on blocks. I'm going to change out the trailer wiring in there. I was checking the tires I changed on it a couple years ago. They were still good. I sprayed them down with some UV protectant and stuff. And still waiting on the other flag. I don't know, might be 2 or 3 more days. The other flagpole, the bigger one. But yeah, I love this thing, man. I love this thing. It's really great. And I like starting a heater like that because, I don't like trimming a wick unless there's one spot on the wick that's a little higher, and so it's got a frayed edge. Then I trim it with this, But I like starting it like that with the starting fluid, just a little bit sprayed around the top, just on the top of the wick, because it kind of cleans the wick. I don't trim the wick ever. I found out the wicks last a lot longer doing it that way. It's just enough to take just a tiny bit of crap off the top of the wick, and I usually get a wick to last the entire winter. If I was otherwise doing it the normal way, I'd be changing a wick out every couple months or every 6 weeks or something. But doing it this way seems to run really good. And this thing does put out a lot of heat. It's freaking new. It's weird, and maybe it's because it's this design heater, because this is, like you said, it's either 1550 on there, right? What the hell's that say? Trademark 1550. Well, this is upside down. That's why I didn't read it. Patent, whatever. U.S. patent, regular REG or something like that. U.S. patent of. The hell does that say, man? Let me see. I guess it just says 1550, which is the model number of the heater, trademark. Reg U.S. patent office, whatever. Perfection. And notice it says oil heater, and it says USA on it. Now that's another thing. It was designed to run home heating oil or kerosene, but I found I've got heaters. I got a heater from Korea someplace. Actually, I should get a wick for that instead of buying another heater. It's as long as you get an all cotton wick, because I know in the military we ran. They had heaters. I don't know what the hell they gave us. They probably don't have them anymore, but they were kerosene heaters that also you can run diesel in them at the same thing. They were like something like along this lines. They were not generators or anything like that. There weren't engines in them or anything like. It was just a heater, and it could run diesel or kerosene. So it seems like in the old days they had things a lot better. The only thing that's wrong with this is that if you let the thing run out all the way, the fuel run out all the way, it'll burn a 1/4 inch of your wick up, full 1/4 inch. If you do that every day for a week, you're not going to have any wick. So that's the only disadvantage. Other than that, I really don't see any advantage to the new stuff. And this does not have any tip over protection or anything like that, but it's a big wide base. I mean, how the hell are you going to tip this over? I mean, what are you going to, you could, I don't know, you could actually probably make something on it that even, I don't know, it sits in a tray or something so it doesn't tip over even more so, but it just doesn't tip over. I mean one of these days you're going to be horrified that you drove your own car. He says, oh, how could you be driving down a car on the road 50 miles an hour and there's people walking on the sidewalk right near you and you're in possession of that steering wheel, man. See what I mean? So I love this thing, man. It freaking really works good. My cats like it too. They hang around here. It's nice and warm. And the reason I'll never really run out of heat is because I got this entire tank full of diesel, which has an actual gasoline pump on it. So I keep 3 cans of diesel, 15 gallons, 5 gallons each full, and every once in a while I just pump them up. Now, if there was no electricity, I could just plug this in. I could pump it out by hand too, but I could just plug this in to a diesel or gas generator, and I could use this to fill up the diesel generator, and then operate the pump in this so I can fill up the cans again. And if I don't even have, say for instance, I can operate the diesel generator or gas generator to work the electric pump on this, I got an inverter and a real high power maintenance-free battery, deep cycle battery with the 1200 watt inverter. Just plug it in, it'll pump the diesel out of this, no problem. So that diesel heater is, if you got a tank like this and several extra wicks, probably better off than a fireplace, man. As long as this tank is filled up pretty good, you got hundreds of gallons of diesel. That's going to last you, God, I don't care where the hell you are, it'll last you all winter, that's for sure. It's a lot safer than firewood, and it's a lot safer than a fireplace, and you could still cook on that diesel heater from the top. Yeah, if you want to cook on there, all you got to do is flip this. Okay, it's not hot. No, not hot yet. You flip it closed like that, and it gets hot up there. It's probably gonna start getting hot real soon. I got it outside, so that wasn't that hot. And the other thing is this handle. As long as you don't have it hanging up like this, if you have it this handle, it's always cool to the touch when you pick it up. No problem. So, you know, if you got a lot of diesel and you have it stored in a steel tank like that, where the proper storage facility, plus it's got like a gas pump on it. Actually, I got that from a farmer someplace down here, some miles from here. You're good to go, man. You're good to go. So, I mean, that amount of diesel I got is probably enough for having like dozens of cords of firewood. And this works great. I mean, plus you can move it. You know, you can move it. You don't have to worry about. The only thing you got to do is, I also checked this for carbon monoxide with a carbon monoxide meter. 0, no carbon monoxide. But you should crack a window with these because it does consume oxygen. But the diesel actually seems to freaking burn cleaner than with this heater anyway. And I got a heater from the 1980s that I picked up in Korea from Team Spirit exercise up there. When I was up there, it's got a cotton wick. They both burn. The diesel seems to burn longer, cleaner, and put out more heat than the kerosene. But it only seems to work in the old style heaters with the 100% cotton wick. But whatever, sticking with the old shit.